everyone. We are here with Liz Wilson, and we are going to interview her today. So let's go ahead and get started. So we know your name. So tell me about the name of your title and the name of the organization.
I am Liz Wilson. I am the president of the board of directors for Humble Warrior Collective, which is a nonprofit organization here in Tulsa.
How long have you been with the organization, and what initially drew you to it?
I had to figure this out. I've been there, on the board for 2.5 years, and I was asked to be on the board, and I really didn't know anything about the organization at all, but I learned more about it, and it was really in line with me and my values and what I like to do, so I was happy to join. But yeah, it's been 2.5 years doing it.
So is this a paid or a volunteer position?
It's volunteer. I do not get paid, unfortunately, but that's fine. I think most of the nonprofit boards are like that. There's not enough money to pay us.
Do you serve in a full-time or part-time capacity?
This is part-time for me. I do have a full-time job, but I do this on the side. It's probably, I think I devote maybe 10 hours a month to it. So it's not a ton, but it's, it's involved enough. I feel like I'm giving back enough time.
Yeah. 10 hours more than you were doing before.
That's right. Yes, for sure.
So can you talk a little bit about your career and educational background before taking this role, and kind of how that may or may not have led you to being in this position?
Yeah. Okay. So educationally, I actually graduated from here with my bachelor's in business administration. And then I did my master's in political science at UCO in Oklahoma City, or Edmond, I'm sorry. And then I went on to work on a PhD in political science. Did not complete that because then I started working at law firms in Oklahoma City doing legal work. And for law firms, I did basically like office management and paralegal work. And then from there, I moved to the United States District Court. I do administrative work for the federal court now. And all of that has been very helpful in this position because I manage money all the time. So the business background is very helpful. And just especially like answering questions about how we should maybe file taxes, or are we keeping up with appropriate statutes and things like that. So it's kind of been really a good, almost the perfect career path, I feel like, to go into leadership with nonprofits.
So, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I would say that's one of the toughest questions for nonprofits, isn't it?
Yeah, and where they probably need the most help.
Yep.
Yeah, I am able to kind of look at it from a business perspective of like, how can we bring in a lot of money? How can we save money? Because even though it's a nonprofit, we're not trying to make any money. We still need a bunch to offer all the services that we have. So I like to use that degree quite a bit to try to make more money for the organization.
Could you tell me about your role here and the main responsibilities you handle?
Yeah, so for the role of president of the board, I am responsible for so many things. I have to, well, it's basically general management of the board. So I kind of am like the central point where all the information comes to, and then I sort of disseminate it. I have to know about everything that's going on. I lead all of our board meetings and the executive committee meetings. I'm on 7 committees as a voting member on all of those committees. I set goals, our annual goals for, what we hope to do to grow, present that at an annual meeting. I don't know what else. I am like, sort of the, if our executive director is not talking to the public, then it's my job to talk to the public. Sort of the face of the organization in absence of our executive director.
Okay.
So.
Interesting. So do you manage other people as a part of your work? I mean, it sounds like what you just described. The answer is yes.
Yeah, it's really just managing schedules is what because all of these people on the board are, this is sort of I wouldn't say it's a management position, but it is, the goal of a board is to advise and direct an organization on where they need to go or where they should go and how they can grow. So they all have like sort of a managerial thing going on as well. And my job is really just making sure that the communication is smooth through everybody. We all are on the same picture. It is, I guess, managing people, but I don't know. It doesn't feel right saying that because they do seem like they manage themselves pretty well.
Maybe that just means you're doing a great job.
Thanks. That's nice. I'm gonna choose to believe that.
Okay.
If so, what types of team members do you oversee? How large is your team? And what kind of responsibilities do you carry? I think you already...
Yeah, we have 18 board members. We have room up for like 30.
I was gonna say, is that a regular amount, or is that a lot, or do you know?
I think boards kind of differ in their needs. I think, having up to 30 is not unusual. Probably after that, then it gets a little bit tricky and they might be better having a separate advisory board. But yeah, I think it's probably a typical size. You need people because really there's a lot of work happening, but you also can't have too many.
Right, not too many cooks in the kitchen.
Right, yeah, for sure.
What do your volunteer opportunities look like?
We have a lot of volunteer opportunities for people in the community. We need volunteers all the time for fundraising events. We hold one large fundraiser and then a few smaller ones, and then we also need we utilize volunteers for like graphic design or marketing. We actually are trying to get an intern right now for that. Oh, lovely.
There you go.
This is wonderful to know. We will talk after. But yeah, it's mainly just in fundraising is where we need most of our volunteers. But we also have a committee in fundraising, but it's a event committee that's a separate committee outside of our board. And we have volunteers on that committee. So it's just planning our biggest event, the Bloom event.
So like one for fundraising overall, and then another one for like specific fundraising event planning.
Right. We have the event planning volunteers, and then we have volunteers that actually come to the events and, work the event, check people in,
Make sure they get seated.
Right, exactly. Bus tables, whatever that needs to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And what is the size of the board and how are its members selected?
So yeah, it's 18 members right now. We feel pretty comfortable with that. I don't know that we'll get more too soon. We elect members. We have been electing them on an ad hoc basis, just when necessary to fill seats. But in our bylaws, we have it structured to where we elect 1/3 of our board every 2 years. So yeah, so it's like July, and then the next year we'll elect another third, and the next year we'll elect another third. And so we constantly have 1/3 of our board sort of in a rotation, so.
So how long do people normally serve on the board? Is it 2 years or it can be more?
Yeah, it's, for nonprofits, they can sort of, my understanding is they can sort of just make up what terms they need, what works best for them. We have 2-year terms. We do not have a term limit. We have been talking about this just because it's good for us to get some new ideas in, some fresh, thinking, new eyes on the situation. But it's also good for us to have institutional memory and to have people who have been on the board for a little bit and can show our new people what's going on. For me being on there 2.5 years, I am sort of like middle of the road. There's people who've been on there for about 5, and then we have people who literally just started. So my institutional memory is like halfway there, I feel like. But we have people that have been on there for a while that can say, oh, I know why we do it this way, or this is, we've done this in the past, and that's very helpful. But we are looking to see if maybe we should cap it, and we're also talking about setting up an advisory board where board members naturally matriculate to a separate board that doesn't have voting power, but just is like, this is what we think maybe you should do.
Yeah, extra advice.
Yeah.
Has there been like a situation that has made you feel like it should be capped, or you're just kind of trying to like keep it like in rotation?
I haven't had any situation that makes me feel like it would be good to get people off the board, but I have just seen when we get new people in, they have amazing ideas that we have been missing out on. We had somebody come in a year ago, and she has whipped into shape our communications department, and we've been missing that.
And you don't even know it.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't know what we're missing.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that we could use some help, but until she came in and said, here's what I think we should do, we're like, oh, okay, well, this is great. So that's really kind of the impetus for, in my mind, the reason that we might want to term or have limits on terms. But on the other hand, we just need a full board all the time. So if we don't have enough people coming in with passion that can stay, because it is not paid, you do have to have passion for the thing. If we also don't want to kick people off.
Right.
So there's a balance to be struck there, and we're finally big enough to where we're having this conversation about should we have people move out naturally.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So that's our ongoing conversation right now.
How often does the board meet?
We have a monthly board meeting, and we have an annual meeting as well. That's when we elect board members and officers to the executive committee. Yeah, we meet once a month, and then every committee meets once a month.
So did you say that you're a part of 7 committees?
I'm on 7 committees.
Plus the board, so you're meeting 8 times a month?
So I am a member of every committee. I cannot make every meeting.
Right.
But if there's a thing that needs to be voted on, I am asked if I would like to vote. But I do regularly attend 5 of the 7 committee meetings, and then the board meeting. So 6.
Yeah. That's
It's a lot. Yeah. So actually, maybe I do work longer than 10 hours, because that's like 6 right there.
I'm like, that sounds like it might be a bit more.
Yeah. Sorry, I lied earlier.
So what kind of relationship does the board have with the executive team? I know you mentioned a little bit about you coming in and being the big communication with the public. If that is not happening, what else does that look like?
Yeah, so our organization is relatively small. We only have our executive director that's on payroll. The rest of the people are contract that do work for us. They're contracted. So we have just our executive director. She's obviously not a voting member of the board, but she's almost an extension of the board. We have like a very close relationship because she runs everything. This is sort of an issue that we're running into as well, is if she were to leave, if she were to need to leave,
Yes.
or something, if she's got a great opportunity, we do not have a lot of redundancy. And so that's another thing that we are trying to sort out, is expanding the executive team to more than one. It's pretty tough.
That's a great idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
The problem that we have is that, you have to pay
Money, of course.
and we need more money. So we are starting to make some money, which is great. But still, it costs a lot to have that redundancy. It's important, but we're not there. But she's vital. I mean, she's at every meeting,
Yeah.
basically. I know.
Who sets goals for the executive team each year?
So it's kind of a back and forth. As president, I hold a retreat in the spring, and I say, this is what I think we should do. But then there's just like a lot of feedback about that. And I also ask people to bring ideas because, again, I'm only one person and I don't know how to do communications, so like we needed that. So we need all the ideas. But basically it's a lot of input. We ask for a lot of input. And then the executive committee, which is our president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary, they make the final call of like, these are the goals for the year. This is what we're trying to accomplish. That sounds very strict. It sounds a lot more strict than we actually do it. We are more like, does this sound good? And people are like, yes, that sounds good. But it is defined in our bylaws that is what we are supposed to do. The executive committee sets the goals for the year.
What are your personal goals this year as the president of the board?
So I have 2 personal goals. I would like to beat our number from last year of income, especially from our main fundraiser. And that was my goal last year as well. And we beat it by a lot, which was fantastic. And the other goal is to create more sustainability with things like redundancy and just, if, I don't know, 10 of our teachers win the lottery and they run off, we need to be able to account for that. And then also sustainability in the board. So organizing that a lot, trying to get our bylaws up to speed and just basically the governance of the board to make it a smoothly running ship. So when I leave, I don't have to worry about it, basically.
That makes sense.
You kind of mentioned this, but are your goals right now the same ones as last year?
Yeah, last year it was just, I want to make a lot of money for the organization. This year, after making a lot of money for the organization, it was now, okay, how do we keep doing that every year? How do we keep donors on board? And how do we make this entertaining? And how do we get, more people invested? And what's our messaging? And, so the goal is just sustainability.
Nice. Yeah. Are goals cascaded top down, such as like from the director or CEO to VP to director to manager? But kind of from what you talked about earlier, it sounds like you kind of all come up with them together.
Yeah.
You tell me.
It's very circular. It's just, if somebody has a brilliant idea, it gets heard. And then we talk about it, and if it will work and it fits, then we do it. I don't don't think there's anybody on the board that doesn't feel like they don't have a voice or they can't say anything, because I don't know, it's just so important to have everybody's views. There's so many brilliant ideas out there, and we're just trying to grow, and so that's the most important thing. More money, more, I don't know, volunteers, more everything that we can get, more buy-in. But yeah, the ideas come from, I mean, our executive director will say, oh, one of our teachers had this idea. I'm like, oh, this is great. Let's talk about this more.
So maybe they bring their ideas to them, and then it maybe kind of trickles down a little bit.
If it's from the people that are actually boots on the ground, that funnels up through our executive director. She's kind of our bottleneck of information from the functioning organization to the board. But anything on the board is really just kind of like a cyclical, like, oh, here's ideas and let's pump them out.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense.
yeah.
What is the mission and what are the values of your organization?
I wrote down the mission.
Mission statement, let's hear it.
Humble Warrior Collective provides marginalized and underserved individuals access to trauma-informed movement and mindfulness techniques, empowering communities to cultivate wellness, discovery, and resilience. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
So do you have anything you want to add on that as far as like the values of the organization or mission that
Yeah, I
you
think
want to expand
it's,
on?
you know, the mission is beautifully stated, but I don't know that it's really just you hear it and you're like, oh, well, I know exactly what you do. So I would say that, you know, just what we do, the organization is essentially like a mobile yoga studio where we have teachers that go out to organizations that have people who have experienced trauma, and we do yoga classes, mindfulness classes, wellness classes, a combination of those that are trauma informed. We partner with like DVIS, Domestic Violence Intervention Services, and then like drug addiction recovery centers. We go to underfunded public schools and do after school programs. We work with veterans at the VFW. There's just any community that has experienced trauma. We take these classes to them, and using trauma-informed techniques, which, like, maybe if you're a survivor of domestic violence, you know, you might not want to be touched. So, you know, if you're in a yoga class, our teachers are hands off, that sort of thing. And then walking through, understanding that people have trauma, and just walking through, allowing space for that to exist.
Yeah.
And it's a organization that nobody pays for anything. Veterans don't pay for anything. Nobody pays for anything. We pay our teachers to go out and do that. That's what our funding is used for. And I think the values of it and why I'm in line with it is it is supplemental therapy for people, but it's also maybe the only therapy or mental health care that people will get. Like maybe in our underfunded schools, this might be the only time that students have an opportunity to just chill out. They're not at home, you know, with brothers, sisters, family, and you know, whatever that environment is. And they're not in school learning, you know, whatever. They just have a minute. And this might be the only time that they learn to cope with something that's tough. So it's equitable access to mental health care, which is why it's an important cause for me and why I spend a lot of time on it.
That was a great explanation, thank you.
Oh yes, absolutely.
So how does the organization manage its progress or success? Like how often are the measurements taken, and what are the measurements used to determine success?
Yeah, this is really important, especially for funding. You have to be able to show efficacy. So we we measure our efficacy in a few different ways. We ask for feedback. We do like just basically qualitative feedback. We'll send out questionnaires, we'll send out surveys, or like at the end of classes, we'll say, how are you feeling? Whatever. There's, that just initial immediate feedback. But we also do empirical research. We have a quantitative study, an ongoing quantitative study. We've partnered with Hope Research Center, and we have basically developed a questionnaire or a survey that we will give out at the beginning of an 8-week course, and then at the end of the 8-week course. And it measures hope, it measures I can't remember what the factors are, but there are several things that it's looking to see if we have improvements, if we've made improvements through the teachings or the class.
So the classes are not a one-time event. They're like
it's an ongoing thing, right? Yeah, and that varies by program partner as well. Mm-hmm. So for we're at Grand Addiction and Recovery, and that has been like a 20-week class where we're funded for 20 weeks, I think. But at Ellen Ochoa Elementary School, we're at 8 weeks at a time. So so they design, research projects, and we're collecting this data all the time because we need it to be able to say this actually works.
And here's why you should give us money to keep doing
right.
it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes, 100%. We need to be able to say this is a good idea for you to spend your money on.
Yeah.
So
makes sense.
True.
Mm-hmm.
How is the nonprofit funded, and is there any organization or foundation that is your leading supporter or that you collaborate with?
Yeah, most of our funding comes from donor support. Our largest donor is the Hardesty Family Foundation, but we have some others that are very regular funders, and I should be able to list them off, but I can't remember all of them. We also have grant funding. We I don't know how many we have of those. This is the one of the 2 meetings that I don't go
to. You mean that you rely on the rest of the board?
Unfortunately. But yeah, we do great writing all the time and are successful, I don't know, maybe 30% of the time. I hope that's a good success rate. I'm not sure. And it's not my area of expertise, but that we do get some funding from that, and that's very helpful for us. And then people just also donate, $20 a month,
So kind of a mix, you have foundations, you have grants, you have individual donors, fundraising events, so kind of a little of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for nonprofits it's really healthy actually to diversify the sources.
Yes, fundraising or fundraising events, I forgot to mention that.
Well, you talked about it before. What do you feel is the greatest accomplishment of Humble Warrior during your tenure, and what would you say are the greatest challenges that you're working to overcome?
Yeah, I don't know about during my tenure, but I think the greatest accomplishment that the organization has made is that it's just the number of people that it's reached. It's like 9,000 people we've had in classes. And that's a lot, and I'm very proud of that. I feel like maybe we've helped a pretty large chunk of those people. So that's a lot of people to feel indirectly a part of helping. I think the biggest challenge that we have is buy-in, because I think that when you tell people that you are operating a mobile yoga studio, I think a lot of people, especially in Oklahoma, who are not necessarily, in love with new age kind of things, you run into,
like maybe they don't see the value in it.
Yeah, it might. Yeah, exactly. It's hard to say yoga helps people. I don't know. It's not just good for wealthy people. who, you know, go there on the weekends. It's good for everybody. So it's difficult to sell that idea a lot of times, especially like in a corporate setting. But that's the, you know, why those studies are so important, to show the efficacy of what we do. But that's the challenge I think that we face, is making this idea palatable and real idea for, you know, society at large, and not just kind of a niche group that says, yeah, this actually is very helpful.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think I already know the answer to this, but do you think that the institution is making an impact on society regarding healing from trauma? I mean, you kind of already answered that with
Yeah.
what you just said.
Yeah.
9,000 people, that's a lot.
Yeah, and, you know, getting the results back from earlier parts of our study, we do see a statistically significant improvement from start to finish. The feedback that we get from like our DIVIS program is phenomenal. You know, these women are basically saying, you know, now I feel like I can breathe, and I feel like I will be able to do this outside of here. You know, it's something they can take with them. So I do think just from anecdotal information like that, and from studies, and just a number of people we've reached, I think we're making an impact. I hope.
I think so.
Yeah.
Good. It's not just me.
We're on board.
Yeah, I'm liking it a lot.
Good.
Where do you see your organization in 5 years?
I hope that it's grown quite a bit. So one of the big goals that we have down the road is to have a brick and mortar location, because we do not have that. We are all, you know, we meet virtually, or we meet, you know, in, what do you call it, it's like third space places where you can go and hang out. And, you know, like I said, we take the yoga and the wellness out into the community, but it would be nice to offer classes at a brick and mortar. Yeah, like we have a location. So that's hopefully I would like to say we could do that within 5 years.
And that could also be a source of income
Exactly.
for the organization,
See?
for anyone to come and, you know, pay, whether it be donation based or whatever. So yeah, I love that idea.
See, you just need to join the board.
Yeah. What's on there? So what advice would you give to someone starting a nonprofit organization?
I think you really should only start something that you're passionate about, because it is a ton of work. You don't make any money, and it's a labor of love. So if you're not passionate about it, you will burn out. But that's probably the most cliche advice that you can give somebody. So other than that, I'm not sure. I don't know. Get a good accountant, because nonprofit accounting is different. It's weird. I took a bunch of accounting classes here. They were helpful, and it's just different.
We just went over all of the accounting in nonprofits and how it is different.
Yeah.
So that's kind
Well,
of
maybe
fresh
I
on
should
our
come back
minds.
and take another class. We have to talk to our accountant pretty regularly to figure out, are we cash, are we accrual, what are we doing? It's kind of tough.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, that's probably it.
Well, that comes to the end of our questions. Is there anything you want to add that we haven't asked, covered, or
I
discussed?
don't know. I was thinking about this organization preparing for this interview. I feel like I got everything out.
Yeah.
I'll email you
Okay.
if I think of something.
Awesome. Well, thank you.